Hello everyone, this is Professor DePaulo welcoming you to Site 265 Research in Psychology fully online. And today I'm going to give a brief overview of the course and the requirements for the course and how to navigate the Brightspace learning platform. So if you're not familiar with Brightspace, the first thing you got to do before you even start the course is you go to this Brightspace help and you want to take the student Brightspace orientation. Now, I'm not interested in like you showing me proof of this. I just want to make sure you can navigate Brightspace. If you already know how to navigate Brightspace, that's fine. It's not that difficult. It can be annoying at times to set up. For me, it should be relatively easy for you to navigate. My goal is to make the course very easy to navigate and highly organized so that you can do this with minimal assistance on my end. I will make videos week to week explaining what needs to be done, and that really focuses on the manuscript. So you should be watching these videos every time I post them. The big thing about my course, the research course, is that you need to follow directions. That sounds pretty obvious, but it's not. I ask for very specific things that are not that hard to accomplish if you work at it. And if you have questions, you should be reaching out to me through email. And we can meet on Zoom. I will set aside hours every week on Zoom. If you can't make those hours, let me know. I will try to Zoom at a time that's convenient for the both of us. I'm trying to make this easy to follow. I give you directions for everything. You are to follow those directions. If you do that and you work hard and you ask questions when you're confused, the course should be fine. The problem arises when students do not follow the directions. And I know that sounds like a really basic thing to say, but I'm saying it for a reason. Some students will decide to do whatever they want, submit whatever they want, and do not follow any of the instructions I provide them. And I have no idea why they do this. I haven't interviewed them or asked them questions about why are you doing this on your own? Why are you neglecting all the hard work I put into this to try to instruct you what to do, and you decide you could do a better job? Okay, this is what you think, right? The directions are there for a reason. So when I post directions, especially when I post videos, and I say this is a walkthrough for this introduction or the method or whatever I'm posting, and I will post instructional videos, that is the time to watch the video and follow the directions. And if there are any questions, you ask. When I say I want 8 paragraphs, I want 8 paragraphs. I don't want 20 paragraphs. I don't want 1 paragraph. I'm trying to make your life easier by providing you with detailed instructions. You just need to execute that and not overthink it. You may think, oh, well, Professor DePaulo wants 3 pages, double spaced, 8 paragraphs, or something like that. I could do a better job. I'm going to write 10 pages and a lot more than 8 paragraphs. And it's going to be better because more is better. And the answer to that is wrong. That's not what I'm asking for. Right? So if I'm asking for something, you should be doing what I ask you for. If you think you could write your own paper better than what I'm instructing you to do, you should be talking to me. Because chances are you're not going to do a good job. I'm giving you instructions for a reason. This is a beginning research course. I do not expect you to submit a manuscript for publication. If you want to do independent research with somebody and learn more about the research process and eventually collect data and submit a paper for publication, you can do that. That's fine. But that's not what this course is about. This course is about the basics. So when I give you instructions, please follow the instructions. I know that sounds pretty rudimentary, basic stuff, but you'd be shocked at how many papers I read where it's just bizarre. It's like completely a student writes whatever they want to write. Sometimes they even write on the wrong topic. Speaking of topics, for this semester, the manuscript that you'll be writing, and I'll talk more about it in detail shortly, is going to be about social connectedness and the role that social connectedness plays on physical health, mental health, and academic performance. That's what all the writing assignments are going to be about. You're going to be taking an online survey that I designed with a student, an honor student that I'm working with, and we're collecting data for this project. And based on that data and based on the responses to this online survey, we're going to carry out our research and we're going to write up a manuscript. So whatever you write in terms of the manuscript, it's going to be about social connectedness, physical, mental health, and academic performance. Right? You're going to find other articles on that stuff when you do your research. But the manuscript is about our class study, which is social connectedness, mental health, physical health, and academic performance. Do not write a manuscript based on another study. The manuscript has to be based on our class survey that we're going to take immediately, starting in week 1. We'll be collecting data, and I will analyze the data for you, but you're going to do the rest of the manuscript. And I'm going to help you by providing instructions and detailed videos as we go along. Follow those videos, do the work. I will give you feedback based on the work submitted. You will then do a revision at the end of the semester. And you will submit the entire manuscript revised at the end of the semester. So basically, we're going to be submitting you're going to be submitting parts of the manuscript, what I call the rough draft, right? I will then read the manuscript you submit, or the different parts, like the introduction, the method, the discussion, etc. I will then give you feedback, and then you will revise for the final paper, which is basically a full revision, the entire manuscript fully revised at the end of the semester. And hopefully through this process of revision, you will learn a little bit about what research in psychology is about and what preparing a manuscript is about. So it's very similar to the way I work. So I write a manuscript, submit it to a journal, and they review it, and they give me feedback, and then I make the changes they suggest and resubmit it to them for publication. That's exactly what you're doing. So you're doing the same thing I'm doing. Basically the same thing that all researchers do is you submit for feedback, you use that feedback to make changes, and then you resubmit, hopefully to get published. This is called the peer review process. So that's the manuscript part. I'm going to start with the syllabus first because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So you go to Course Information tab in Brightspace, and you're going to have the syllabus and you're going to have Achieve. The syllabus is basically everything about the course. Achieve is the online homework system that you're going to be doing every week. So you have to do the Achieve every week, and I'll talk more about this shortly. Let's start with the syllabus. Let's start with a download. So my name is Professor DePaul, obviously. I've been teaching this course since we started offering it in 2016. I've also taught research methods at Rutgers before I was at BMCC. So I've been teaching research methods of some variety for a long time. I mean, it's unfortunately a long time is going up on almost 20 years, which is absolutely insane. So I've been teaching this course in some format for almost 20 years. Semester is summer. We are fully online. This is my phone information. I will not be in my office too much, so the best way to contact me is through email. Please give me 1 day to turn around the email. I may turn around the email less than 1 day, but give me like a day to respond, right? I check my email several times a day, but sometimes I check it and then you write to me right after I check it, and I don't get it till the next morning or the next afternoon. So you got to give me a little bit of time to turn it around. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm also available on Zoom. My office hours will be 3 to 6 on Fridays. Please email me if you want to meet me on Zoom during my office hours so that I can structure things better. So if I know you're going to come at 3, then I block off time at 3 for you. And that way I can organize things so you're not waiting in the waiting room for, you know, no one knows how long, right? So if you want to meet with me, just send me an email. And I will send you the Zoom invite. And then therefore I can sort of block my schedule off better that way. Course description, it is a introduction to psychological research. You're going to learn the research process by analyzing the ethical issues in research, conducting literature reviews, collecting, analyzing, interpreting data. I will do most of the data analysis for you because this is not a statistics course. And summarize and present the findings. Students may be presented with opportunity to work with faculty in designing and implementing a research project. So we're going to do a class research project because it's sort of the beginning of the it's an introduction to the research process. After this course, if you want to work on research with a particular professor, or if you move on to the senior college, you can then do independent research or honors research. You have to find someone to do it with. But you'll be better prepared to do it if you have sort of an idea of what's going on in the research process. You can read through the learning outcomes. I'm going to go through all this as the semester goes on. The reading is Discovering the Scientist Within, 3rd edition, plus Achieve. So that's important. So the text is Discovering the Scientist Within, 3rd edition, but you need to get a version with the Achieve. 1-term access. So the Achieve is the online homework, and you need to have a version. You need to pay for the Achieve, unfortunately. You have to pay for it to do the online homework. Why do you have to pay for these things? Because they're much better than the open source alternatives. There is no open source homework system that goes through all the information and helps you learn in a very compressed period of time. That's what Achieve is designed for. And unfortunately, we have to pay a little bit to access the service, but I think the service is worth the cost. So you can buy it in a variety of ways. Now, this price is with the loose leaf plus the access. So if you want something physical, I have ordered the loose leaf textbook with the Achieve access to the bookstore. If you don't want a physical book and just want an online book or ebook, you can buy it from the website when you purchase Achieve. So if you buy the Achieve access, you will get the ebook with it. And that will be the cheapest option. But this is just the way it is because the open source materials are not, to be honest with you, the open source materials, most of them are not good. They're not good. And there's no online system that's going to work, that you're going to be able to work with, especially for an asynchronous class. So I've reviewed a lot of books and I've looked at open source options and I've come to the conclusion that this is a really good book and a really good homework system. It does cost a little bit of money, but it's better than getting you something that is just not worth it at all, that you're not going to really get anything out of. Now, how do you access the Achieve? You go to achievemacmillan.com. Right, so you're going to open up your browser. You're going to put it in. right? You're going to come to this screen, and you're going to need to enroll in a course. And then you need to enter the course ID here. The course ID is right here, MBSCES. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. And it's not going to let me enroll yet because the course isn't started, but you'll be able to enroll once you watch this video. So you can see the course is going to start on May 27th. Obviously, I'm recording this video before May 27th, so I can't access the course as a student, right? As like a new enrollee. But on May 27th, you can access the course. You put this code in, you would enter, and you follow the prompts. And then you can purchase Achieve Access. And if you purchase the Achieve Access for one semester, you get the ebook. And you can read the ebook. So let me show you what that looks like, what Achieve looks like here. So obviously I have an instructor account for Achieve. So here's what week 1 looks like. So there's an orientation assignment you're going to do online. Then wherever you see this black book, that means it's a reading assignment. So if you just click on this, you can start reading the textbook. This is the ebook. So you just click on these black book symbols and you start reading the book. So this is not graded. So the readings obviously are not graded. What is graded are these assignments where the points are next to it. So here's a video activity. Here's another video activity. Here's something called Learning Curve. This is like a quiz system to help you learn the concepts. This is another reading. This is another learning curve. More readings and more research and action stuff here, right? So that these assignments, they keep going down. There's a lot of us. There's a bunch of assignments because what I've done is I've compressed multiple weeks of regular coursework into 1 week of a summer coursework. Because we're only doing this 6 weeks, so you have to accelerate it. So that's what I say when I'm mentioning be ready to work. I mean, I really mean it. Be ready to work. There's a lot of work for the course. This is just the homework for week 1. You got to read through 2 chapters, and you got to do all this stuff here, right? All the stuff with the assignments with the points. There's flashcards, and then there's a practice quiz at the end, which is chapter 2 practice quiz. You also have a chapter 1 practice quiz. That's worth a little bit more points. And these are the due dates right here. You need to do the work on time. I am not going to accept you doing all the work at the beginning or all the work at the end of the semester. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm busy this week, so I'm just going to push everything back to the last week of class and I'll just do everything. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work that way at all. So you need to start doing the work and continue to do the work on time each week. So if you're going on vacation and you can't do work for 2 weeks of the semester, that's a problem. So if you plan on doing that, and I've had people actually tell me, hey, I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks right in the middle of the semester of the summer 6-week course. And I'm just like, I'm good with you going on vacation, but why would you take the course if you're going on vacation and you have no time to do the work for 2 weeks? Because they think they can come back and just make up all the work. No. If you're going to be away for several weeks during the summer and you expect to do the work at the end, you're not going to be able to do that. So I suggest you just withdraw and take the course when you have more time. So I expect the work to be done each week. If there's a serious problem and you can't do the work, then you need to email me and let me know what's going on. Don't ask me, oh, professor, can you open up the 6 weeks worth of work that I missed? Don't do that. I can't take you seriously if you do that. So do the work on time. Unless there's a serious problem. Then if there is, you have to let me know. And you're going to have work like this for every week. And it's only 6 weeks, so there's a lot of work. because I'm covering the entire course in 6 weeks. And that's what the summer semester is about. The summer semester is not, well, it's summer, so like he's going to be easy on us. Oh, it's going to be easier because it's the summer, and he's not going to, he's not going to put all the... It's the summer. I still want to teach the course. If they tell me I have to teach the course in 6 weeks, then I'm going to teach the course in 6 weeks. It's going to be intensive. I'm not going to just teach half the course because it's the summer. So keep that in mind, right? I am going through the regular course in 6 weeks. Okay, so that's Achieve. You're going to have this every week. You're going to have Achieve homeworks to be done. And the due date is always on Sunday night. So that's Achieve. You do get a 2-week free trial or grace period with Achieve. After those 2 weeks, you got to register for it. And please use the same email address that you use for the free trial. Use that same email for the paid access. Please do that. Otherwise, it shows up as multiple accounts for me. So make sure you're using the same email for the free trial that you for the paid access that you use for the free trial. Here are the course themes. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. That's a classic one. You hear this one when people talk about things like aliens or parapsychology, like, extrasensory perception. You want to show that there's aliens in the world, you need a lot of evidence, right? You just don't need, to some YouTuber talking about, hey, I got this video someone sent me of this tall shadow that emerged in my backyard, right? I'm not saying that there is no aliens. I mean, personally, I'm a pretty strong believer in aliens. I mean, I think there is a lot of evidence out there that we are obviously, and I'm not that arrogant to think that we're alone in the universe. I mean, that's real arrogance. And there's a lot of interesting data out there, but that data has to be extraordinary. Right now, it doesn't rise to that extraordinary standard. There's a lot of interesting stuff and weird things that we can't explain, but there's not extraordinary evidence. So to draw that, hey, proof of aliens, you need extraordinary evidence because that's a really extraordinary claim. And even if I lean towards that, yeah, most likely there are aliens. And it's funny because you watch someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I like a lot too. He has a weekly Star Talk podcast. And he's a really interesting guy. But he's completely against the alien hypothesis. So there are plenty of people on both sides of the story, especially when it comes to things like aliens. And that's an extraordinary claim. You need something really extraordinary. There's a field within psychology called parapsychology that's now kind of defunct. No one really does research in it anymore. And they were trying to show extrasensory perception. And the moment they started doing these studies on extrasensory perception, there was a big backlash within the scientific community saying, this is garbage. Why are you doing stuff on this? This is not real. Once again, there was some evidence in certain studies to support the idea of extrasensory perception, but it wasn't strong enough to convince the scientific community that it's real. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Keep an open mind, but then if someone's saying, do you have proof? Something crazy, something that is not common. You need to ask for proof, and the proof's got to be pretty strong. Not some conspiracy theory. Google is not a synonym for research. This is another good one. So if you just Google stuff, you get all kinds of, Wikipedia, all kinds of junk, right? So don't use Google for your research. Use Google Scholar. Because if you use Google Scholar, you're going to get research. You're going to get articles published research. But if you just do Google, you're going to get all kinds of stuff. And a lot of that stuff is not scientific. It's just Joe's awesome psychology page, right? I mean, Joe might be awesome and Joe might know a lot of things, right? But no one's doing peer review on Joe's awesome psychology page. And the use of technology, obviously I'm using PowerPoint. So I'm recording all these videos for you. So there'll be a video a week. There's PowerPoint videos, lectures for each of the topics. The video instructional videos for the manuscript that I'll be posting. Online homework in the Achieve. We're no longer using Blackboard. We're using Brightspace. But it's the same thing. This is the online learning environment. Weekly guide. So if you go to Brightspace, you'll see a weekly guide. So let's get out of here for temporarily. Let's go to table of contents. So if I go to content, it shows me these tabs. Course information, which I'm doing right now, the syllabus and the Achieve. Then the weekly guide. The weekly guide is where you're going to get all your information, from, all your assignments from. The weekly guide. It tells you basically what the topic is of the week and what the assignments are. So week 1, psychology is a science and the research process. These are our learning objectives. I've made a to-do list for you. This is where you're going to find out. This to-do list is going to tell you what you actually have to do for the week. If I click on the to-do list, it tells me I need to read chapter 1, read chapter 2, right, in the text. And I got to do the class survey, which you'll see shortly. I have to do Achieve, the welcome unit, chapter 1 in Achieve, and also chapter 2 in Achieve, the online homeworks. I also have to do discussion board 1, and it tells me the introduction is now assigned, right? So basically I'm going to post a video around this time. So at the end of the first week, there'll be a video about the introduction. The introduction is due later on. It's due week 2. But I just kind of mentioned that it's coming up. And these are the due dates, right, and the times that everything is due. So let's go back to that week 1. Intro to the course video, that's what you're watching right now. So there's a link to it, but you're watching it now anyway. The class survey, you click on this, you're going to take the survey for the data collection this semester. Here's a video lecture. Here's the PowerPoint to accompany the video lecture. For chapter 2, here's a video lecture. Here's the PowerPoint to accompany chapter 2. And here's the 3 Achieve assignments, the welcome unit, the chapter 1 and chapter 2. You just click on this, it takes you to Achieve. You do those 3 assignments. So you've watched the lectures for the 2 chapters. You've done the class survey. You do the Achieve assignments. And then discussion board 1, practice with paraphrasing. So here's the assignment, and I want you to paraphrase. That means put it in your own words. So that's important because when you're summarizing research, you have to put things in your own words and then cite them. You cannot just copy word for word. This is the due date, right? If I click this link here, it allows me to start the discussion board. So start a new thread. And then I just put the subject, which could be discussion board 1, whatever, and then your answer here in the body of the paragraph here, right? And then you just post it, and you've posted your discussion board. You do not need to reply to others. You're only replying to me. You're not replying to others. So I know it's a discussion board, but it's more of a discussion between me and you. Right, that's what the discussion board's really for me. It's a check on your knowledge. It's not to like have a discussion of these things because it's research, and there's really not much like in terms of paraphrasing. How are you gonna have a discussion on this? This is a research course, so the discussion is geared towards me. I am your audience. not your peers. Okay, so that's how the discussion board works. You do not need to reply to anybody. You just need to submit it, and I will read it and give you feedback and give you some kind of grade on it. And you'll have one discussion board a week. Is there anything else here for chapter 1? Okay, so I've given you videos to watch. So this is how to use PsycInfo. It's a video on how to research using PsycInfo. Here's one on how to paraphrase. Here's a video on bad science versus good science. It's interesting. Here's a video on the amazing Randy, he's a really cool guy. He's a magician, and he talks about debunking psychic powers in the famous case of the psychic by the name of Uri Geller. This goes back to the 70s when people really believed that this guy was psychic. So he debunks Uri Geller's psychic powers. This is Google Scholar, how to use Google Scholar, how to paraphrase, another link on that, and another tutorial PsycInfo link. So that's week 1's assignment, right? Google Scholar works really easily. You just type in Google Scholar, you go to the search engine, and then you type in what you want. So I could type in something along the lines of, so I want social connectedness and academic performance. Let's say I'm looking for that, which you will be looking for shortly. This gives me all the articles, right? And the PDF says that I can click on the PDF and get the full article. Do not pay for anything. Do never pay for anything. If they don't have the article you want and you click on it and the journal is saying pay $30 for the article, don't do it. Just find another article, right? So anything with a PDF means that the article is there. Just click on it and you get the full article pop up, right? You read the article. If you're using it for whatever you're using it for the research, like the introduction. You're going to be finding articles. So you're going to be finding this shortly. I'm just showing you what Google Scholar is right now. And then we have PsycInfo, and I'll probably show you it again next week. PsycInfo. So to get to PsycInfo, you go to Library, Databases, Psychology, and then you go to PsycInfo or Psych Articles. Doesn't matter. They're both almost the same. I'll use PsycInfo. You log in through Kini. So it's going to ask for your ID and all that stuff. I already logged in. So if I want to do social connectedness and academic performance, it's going to give me a bunch of articles too. What's better, Google Scholar or PsycInfo? It just depends on what you find and what you want to use. You should be able to use both, though. Here's an article. If I click on it, I don't know if CUNY has it because it's not showing. So see this symbol? That means they have it. CUNY doesn't have every article. If they don't have the article, do not pay for it. Do not, under any circumstance, pay for anything. Just find another article. There's so many articles on the research we're doing that you should not be like at one article that you need to have, right? Open access, looks like I can probably get this through open access. So I just hit find it at CUNY, and CUNY looks for it, and CUNY probably doesn't find it. Oh, it does, I guess. Yeah. So anything with open access, I can access. Some of this available access, so I can get any of this too. So I find an article I want, and I don't see anything right here, but if I find the article I want, I click on it, and I have access to the article. If it just says PDF, it's even easier. I just click the PDF, and I get the PDF. And then you're going to read the abstract to see if, you want to write an article on it. If you want to write the introduction on this article. So this is like coming attractions I'm giving you right now. What else? Like I said, do the weekly guide each week. The last day I will accept any late work is going to be June 30th. Now, I will give you I will accept late work with a penalty for lateness. But the last date I will accept anything late is June 30th. Once again, do the work each week, you're going to be fine. If you wait to the end of the course to do all the work, you're not going to be fine. You're going to have problems. First off, you're going to lose a lot of points for being late. And if you don't get it in on time, you're going to lose all the points. Students that submit every week and in a timely manner have no problems with the course. I give a lot of A's in this course. It is not too difficult to get an A in the course if you do the work. If you don't do the work, you're not going to get the grade you want in the course. So please do the work. Achieve, you get the 2-week free trial, then you must register for it, like I said before. The research paper and the manuscript. As I said at the beginning of the video, we are doing a manuscript on social connectedness and its role and its links to physical, mental health, and academic performance. You're going to write 4 rough drafts. The introduction, the method, the discussion, and the last part will be the abstract, the title, and the references combined. So you're going to have 4 rough drafts. You're going to submit them to me. I'm going to grade them, give you feedback, and at the end of the semester, you're going to revise everything. So the best thing you can do is start revising after I give you feedback. Don't even wait to the end of the semester. Just revise everything when I give you the feedback. At the end of the semester, you're going to submit the entire revised paper. 50% of your paper grade is going to be based on your rough drafts, and 50% is going to be based on the revised final paper. The reason why 50% is based on rough drafts is because I want you to take the rough draft seriously. I just don't want you to turn in junk just to get it done and then say, I'll worry about it at the end. No. I want you to really work at it each week. That's why I'm giving a little bit more weight to the rough draft. Class participation, it's an online course. You need to do the work. If you don't do any work for the first week, I will mark you as not attending. And then they will purge the course from your schedule. You'll be dropped. So make sure you're doing the work. Because after a week, if you haven't done the work, you're not attending. Advocacy and Resource Center, if you need help with anything, especially finances, housing security, go to these people, see what they can do for you. They're very helpful. Counseling Center, on campus, but they also do Zoom sessions. It's free. It's therapy. You don't have many opportunities to get free therapy. So take advantage of it. It's helpful. Even if you feel like, oh, I'm getting by, I can deal with it on my own, but it's there and I can get through it. There's nothing wrong with making a therapy appointment and seeing how it goes. It can be very helpful for students. And once again, it's free. You're paying with your tuition for it. This is the only time you're going to get it for free. Therapy can be very expensive. So take advantage of it if you need it. I always encourage students to go to the counseling center because it's a really stressful experience being a student, especially today, after the pandemic and all that stuff. It's a very stressful experience. So if you need it, utilize it. Accessibility, you need to be registered with the Office of Accessibility before I can give you any kind of alterations in your course load or coursework. I need a letter from them or an email from them saying you're registered with the Office of Accessibility. So it doesn't carry over semester to semester, So you want to be in contact with them. If you had accommodations last semester, make sure you follow up with them for this semester. Plagiarism. Plagiarism is an automatic 0. I will not accept plagiarism. If it's accidental plagiarism because you didn't cite something, you didn't put the correct citation, it's accidental plagiarism. It's not a 0. But you need to learn to cite correctly to avoid this accidental plagiarism. If it's word for word copied from a place, I'm going to say word for word, you need to make these changes. You cannot just copy research word for word and put them in a citation. You cannot use a block quote in psychology. It's just not a good form. So in literature, you can use a block quote where you're just taking a passage word for word and put quotations around it. You can't do that in psychology. I want everything paraphrased and cited, APA style, author, comma, year, paraphrased in your own words. I do not want to see direct quotes at all. I do not want to see block quotes at all. Everything must be paraphrased. This is the breakdown in grade, midterm, final, 15-15. That's online. Achieve 20%. That's the homework, online homework. Discussion board, 10%. And then the research paper is 40%. So this is the majority of your grade. It's also the most important part of the course. This includes the rough draft and the final paper, the 40%. There will be no incompletes given for the course, mainly because students don't complete the incompletes. And it's just too much work for me, and tracking people down, it's just not worth it. So I will not give incompletes. If there's a problem in the course, please let me know and send me an email. And we can set up a meeting if we have to. This is the tentative schedule. More than tentative schedule. This is the schedule I've laid out. Weeks 1 through 6. So you see there's a lot going on here. You're going to have to write an introduction, a method, a discussion, the title, abstract, references. These are all the rough drafts. You're going to have a midterm. You're going to have to revise and submit a final paper, and you're going to have a final exam. So you have a lot of work here. Make sure you're doing it on time each week. If there's a problem, contact me. It's your responsibility to be registered, and it's your responsibility to have the bills paid or financial aid taken care of. So please take care of your financial aid if you have it. Make sure you follow up with them. Make sure you follow up with the bursar's office. Because you don't want problems, because they'll stop you from registering for the fall or for the spring, whatever, the next semester. And they may even drop your schedule if you don't pay anything. So you gotta take care of that stuff. Make sure you're registered for the course. If you have a problem, go to the registrar's office and make sure your bill is being handled, your financial aid is being handled, etc., through the bursar's office. And that's pretty much it for the syllabus. So as you see, the key here is the weekly guide. Now, when you're submitting your papers, you're going to be submitting them through this written assignments folder. You click on written assignments, that's where you're going to submit things. So I will post videos here. I already gave you some instructions, but I'm going to post videos for each section every week. So you're going to have a video for the introduction, for the method, for the discussion, and for the title, abstract, and references. You also have to upload your assignments here under the written assignments folder. So the introduction, you're going to click on here, you're going to upload it as a PDF file. So everything should be uploaded as a PDF file so I can view it, give you feedback, and then you can make changes. At the end of the semester, after you do all these assignments, you're gonna submit your final paper at the bottom here. And that's where you're going to be submitting all your assignments, is on this written assignments folder. So that's basically it. I mean, it's not too complicated. Make sure you follow the videos that I make. And if you have questions, let me know. Email me, whatnot. I will try to help you in any way I can. So hopefully that is a good walkthrough of the course and what the expectations are. I think you'll enjoy the course. It is work. Keep a positive attitude, right? And work hard for the 6-week duration of the course, and you should be fine. If you have questions right away, let me know. Do not wait till after the assignment to ask me questions about the assignment. Make sure you're asking questions before the assignments are due. And I'm available through email and through Zoom. I will probably not be in my office too much, maybe once or twice, but it's just easier meeting on Zoom these days, especially for an online course. So hopefully that's going to help you feel comfortable with the course. I wish you the best of luck. I'm pulling for you. I think the course is doable. I think people, if you work hard, most students can do well in the course. You just have to work at it. And if you have questions, let me know. Bye for now. See you next time talking about the introduction, how to do the research, the lit review, and all that stuff. That'll be for the introduction video of the manuscript. So bye for now. See you online soon.